and go check out Cali Connection Disc Golf.
Stay connected.
Hi, I'm Pavo Stubstad with Pure Hyzer Productions. With me today I've got David Madruga, Legacy sponsored player. You saw him at the round 2 coverage of King of the Lake in the previous episode at Zephyr Cove, and now we're going to take a look at round 3 at Sierra College.
Sierra College, fairly new course put in, very elevated, very long shots, tight fairways, lots of trees, nice style of golf, very hard and difficult.
Definitely. It's probably Tahoe's most wooded course. Sierra's got a lot of trees. Yeah. It also has 4 par 4s that are really about placement more than power, I'd say.
Right.
You know,
having a little power will help you though. Power gets you most of the way down the fairway. As long as you don't hit anything, you're looking good for a 3.
That's true. And I'd also like to mention that Sierra College is another course designed by Craig Getty, the same course designer who designed Zephyr Cove that we saw at round 2 at King of the Lake. Personally, my 2 favorite Tahoe courses are Zephyr Cove and Sierra College. I mean, Craig Getty is an excellent course designer, so it'll be nice to see some more of his work. Sierra College is also the only course in Tahoe that, at least during King of the Lake, only had 1 pin placement for every hole. That course actually didn't ever change until very recently. They're installing new placements now, but it still only had 1 placement for every hole.
Right, I think it was less than a handful of times I've played this course, but love it every time.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So the lead card for round 3 is actually the same 5 players we saw in round 2. Round 2 started with James Proctor having a 1-stroke lead over Nikko and a number of other players tightly grouped behind him. Proctor now has a 2-stroke lead over Nikko, and him and Nikko have distanced themselves from the other 3 players on the card a little, but there's only a few strokes. I think Dave here is only 3 strokes behind Nikko.
All within reach.
Going into this round,
it's all within reach.
That's true, and a reminder, this is a 5-round tournament, and this is only round 3, so there's still a lot of golf left. Anything can happen.
A whole tournament left, really.
That's true, especially with technical golf like this. Big changes can happen on any hole.
All right, well, let's take a look at the action.
Let's do it. King of the Lake, round 3, lead card. Going into round 3 in first place, we've got James Proctor sitting at 20 under from Rohnert Park, California, with a rating of 1020.
In second place, we got Nikko Locastro, 1035 out of Grass Valley, California, 18 under.
And third place, David Madruga, sitting at 16 under, just a little behind Nikko from Auburn, California, with a rating of 993.
And following up is Jere Eshelman, 1006 rated from Penn Valley, California at 13 under.
And then Jason Herm, also at 13 under in fourth place from North San Juan, California, rating a 1015. Hole 1 here at Sierra College is 222 feet, probably one of the easiest holes at Sierra, just a nice little hyzer up a slight hill.
Yep, if you don't get hole 1, you are kicking yourself in the face.
Because there are a lot of hard holes here, and this is one of the few kind of must-gets for players at this level.
Looks like just a little putter hyzer for Proctor here.
Yep, parks it.
Pretty much every top player is going to go with a little putter shot here, a little layup shot.
Yep, all you got to do is hit that one gap there between the 2 trees, and you're pretty good. Miss that last V tree before the basket, too, and that's it. And Nikko's parked as well.
I went with a little gator shot there.
I actually like the gator shot on that one too. Make sure it cuts left up that hill.
Sometimes I see the putter just kind of float straight for me, so I need that little hook back.
Yeah, you really want to control the distance on a short shot like this.
Got a little tree there.
Yeah, there is one more behind that one that you can't see from the tee pad.
This is probably one of my favorite shots Herm has, this little flick Annie shot.
Yeah, and he does not take a lot of time on that or any shot for that matter. He's a very quick player. Good putt from Jere. here's Dave a little up the hill to the left of the basket.
Boom.
Yes.
Getting the one you gotta get.
Yeah, gotta get this hole.
Nikko with an easy tap in.
And Proctor with another easy. Oh, nope.
Herm's got to tap in his par there, and
Yep.
Proctor with a birdie. And after hole 1, we got 4 birdies and a par. Hole 2, downhill, 288 with a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a very reachable hole. You just got to navigate some trees to get in there.
Got a couple of lines. There's a Hyzer line on the right, an Annie or sidearm line on the left, and I've seen a few people go up the gut too, although that's less common.
Yeah, for me, I don't like the right side. It's a little too tight for my liking, but if you're confident, that's all it takes.
I gotta agree with you there. I've played this course a lot, and I like that line on the left a little better. I used to throw an Hyzer there, now I throw a sidearm, but here is the Hyzer line on the right.
Nikko showing how it's done.
And that shot is definitely there. It's just a tighter gap.
I prefer the little fire chicken off the side here.
And that was on a good line if it had missed that tree and gotten a skip.
Yep. Jere's taking the same line I was, but with his magic rock.
It's an old beat-in orange rock that Jere loves. You saw how understable it was there.
Herm looking like he's going to do the same thing here.
Shot.
That's a good shot right there. Showing how the Annie line's done.
That was just a little layup there. Don't want to get too greedy. Of course, if you're Proctor,
The word layup is not in your vocabulary.
no sir, no sir, he can bang a putt from the distance. Jere coming up a little short here.
Ooh, really close for Jason on that one. Inch higher, that would have probably stayed in. Proctor saves his par. And Nikko, after a beautiful drive,
Connects with his birdie.
and that's the only birdie on this hole. Puts him one stroke closer to Proctor. I believe Proctor's only a stroke ahead of him now. As everybody else taps in their pars here.
Holes 1 and 2 are probably the shortest out here.
2 are the shortest, but 2 is not easy.
No.
I mean, for being 288 and downhill, you can see right here only one birdie.
One birdie on that, yeah.
This is a lot of trees. Hole 3 is a par 4, 440 feet, uphill the whole way.
This is a very tough hole. You got basically your right alley that most Hyzer players are going to try to choose. And you just got to get it as far as you can without hitting nothing.
And it's really important to try to stay in the middle on this one too. And really place your shot essentially where Nikko's hit the ground. He's okay off there to the left, but
you kind of want to stay a little bit flatter, a little bit straighter, but that's going to be great up and down from there.
No!
yeah, Proctor, He knows what I was talking about there. Up there
That's
towards the end, maybe the last 150 feet up to the basket, the trees are really thick off to both sides. You really don't want to be too far away from the center of the fairway that far up.
I pulled it a little wide here, but
That's
in the fairway for
that's
the
a
most part.
better spot to be than where James ended up.
Jere hit a really good line
Yep,
there.
that's textbook first shot on this hole. That'll put you in a good spot for an easy layup for a 3.
Jason put a great drive down, just had to get by that little guy. Other than that, it was a great throw.
And here's Dave's second shot. Good
Got
kick
a-
back into the
Got
fairway.
a little love there.
I should note that while I was setting up to film that, I missed Herm's second shot from off to the left where he kicked, and it was an amazing shot that parked him for a 3. A heck of a 3 save after a bad kick on his drive. Too bad I missed that one.
I think I remember that shot. It was an arrow sidearm.
You'll see where it ended up in a minute. I mean, I'm pretty disappointed I missed this one. It would have made the highlight reel. Proctor's there for a 4. You saw earlier he just kind of laid it back up into the fairway on his second shot. He had no line at the basket from off there to the right. Nikko gets through the trees and he's there for a 3.
Thought I had a good stroke on that, just a little wide.
It is pretty steep uphill. The video doesn't quite do it justice here. These putts are a little awkward.
Oh. Shame.
I mean, this is an easier par 4 if you can get good placement on your first shot, but it's hard enough.
Yeah, the trees they're so dense in there, it's very hard to get through that gap.
So Nikko gets the 3 there. We also saw Jason tap in his 3 from a fantastic second shot that I missed. And Madruga and Jere get their pars.
Both sided in there, so it wouldn't be in your way.
So only 2 birdies on that one, and that actually ties up Nikko and Proctor for first place there, sitting at 21 down.
Yep.
Hole 4, 415 feet, par 3, big Hyzer shot out over an open meadow that tails off to the left. If it doesn't hold, you can fade down a hill. This is a tough hole.
Yeah, this is very tough. A lot of people like to go for the turnover shot here.
Oh my god.
Nikko got caught up in that tree.
If you have a really good sidearm, it works well too.
Yeah, you gotta have a pretty beast sidearm to get to this hole, but it does work.
Keep turning.
Yep.
And there's what I was talking about.
The problem with this hole is if you start to pan back out, you're following the hillside, and it's a lot more room to keep going left. Proctor puts a really nice turn on this.
And that's holding nicely. And there's the basket. He just put it right there. Oh,
A little frustrated there.
that's my most common mistake on this hole is to hit that tree. Just go a little bit too wide.
Yeah.
Get in the hole.
Oh, I caught the tree. Yeah.
Oh, good. Nice.
Beautiful shot by Jere.
Yeah, I feel like you have to commit a little bit wide to get the turn. Otherwise, you kind of hit early on the right.
Yep. Just clip some branches on the upshot there.
upshot.
Yep. Par is really not too bad on this one. You don't see 2s on this hole very often.
No.
And that was Jason's upshot there from off to the left by the next tee pad. And here's Dave. Long try to save a par here. Right height.
Yeah.
And here is James for birdie. That's a fantastic birdie to get.
This guy overdrives holes and makes birdies. I don't think there's a hole out there you can't reach.
I don't think so. Par 3 anyway. And here's Jere. He actually must have slid through that little opening on the right and gotten behind that stuff when his drive really looked as good as James's did.
Yeah.
So everybody else is just tapping in their pars here. I'd say Jere deserved the birdie as much as Proctor did on that one, but James walks away with the only one. And Dave with the bogey there, unfortunately. But it's a tough hole.
A lot of golf left. That's why I keep telling myself.
It's true at this tournament especially.
So we got a change here now. James Proctor back in the lead. Nikko trailing by 1.
Which brings us to hole 5. Big downhill shot, or a smaller downhill shot I should say, only 272.
This is a fun hole. A lot of players like to take the putter straight down the middle. There is a Hyzer. I don't really like the Hyzer too much.
The Hyzer is not particularly common.
Yeah, throw it in the air.
It's a little hard to gauge the distance on this hole.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder if that 272 listed on the sign is correct, to be honest. It seems a little farther to me. There's the Hyzer.
Nikko taking the Hyzer line. Sounds like he hit a couple trees.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think we saw it come down just short left, though.
I know I played with it.
Yeah, he's not too happy about trying it. It does bring more trees into the equation.
Yes.
A little kiss off the tree.
It didn't quite flip flat enough for Herm, but he got down there.
Jere electing to go down the middle as well. Possibly his magic rock.
Turn that one over a little bit. Carried off to the right.
Button.
Give him a long look for 2, though.
All right.
Yeah, get through. Come on.
Chose the putter here.
Yeah.
Going. There you go.
And that's a good shot. In the circle.
Yeah.
Nikko with about maybe a 50-footer for 2.
In striking range.
Boom. Right in the heart.
He makes a lot of those long putts like that.
Beautiful putt, Nikko. James just a little closer than Nikko.
Oh, no.
Left a little short.
Got a bug on my lens.
Yeah. Jere with his putt here for 2.
Jason for birdie.
Yeah.
Solid.
Nice putt there.
Birdie.
James taps in a par, and here's Madruga for birdie.
Got it in there. It's nice to birdie right after you bogey.
Yeah, way to come back from that.
Puts you right back on track.
With the CTP drive, too. And Jere taps in a par.
A little freestyle and mini marking there.
Had to leave that in.
So Nikko ties it back up with James at 22 under.
It's a lot of exciting competition at the top. Hole 6, arguably the hardest par 4 at Sierra, 600 feet. The last bit is uphill, and the second part of the fairway is very, very heavily wooded.
Yeah. A lot of guys will take the right side gap as hard as you can and for as long as you can, and Hyzer to the left, which leads you for an easier upshot.
Yeah, but there is no such thing as an easy upshot on this hole, even if you're close with all those trees.
That was a great looking drive if it would have finished.
That lane to the left, close to where Nikko's came down, is kind of a decent spot to come down and give yourself a sidearm or Annie upshot. There are a few other lanes through that cluster of trees, but...
This holds Hyzer. It's going to be a great shot. Got the center tree. Put a little too much on this.
However, it's holding and
got
missing
clean.
all the trees.
Got clean.
Off to the right side of the fairway, but it's out there. Got some distance.
Oh, throw it in the air.
God, Proctor didn't get the height he wanted.
No, had the power.
Nice straight shot from Jere. That'll put him in a decent spot.
That's where you want to be.
Power behind it.
Still not an easy upshot.
Nope. And this is the biggest window that exists on the second part of the fairway here. Sidearm out of Proctor is not something you see too often.
That's it up there.
Yeah, a little
Giving him
deep
a look.
even.
Herm with almost the same shot.
He's a little more to the right, so he's going for the same window, but with a Hyzer.
Puts it right up.
Beautiful shot. And he's parked for a 3 on this hole. This is a good one to get a 3 on.
Yes.
Come back, baby.
Yep.
Nikko with a little sidearm flex.
Must be a very stable disc. That really fought hard.
Yeah.
That's it, damn it.
There's another tree there we couldn't see from this angle. And that's pretty far to be after your first shot on this hole.
Yeah. Put it a little wide here. Kicking
Yeah.
myself in the face. Asking for that one back. Jere has an amazing range with that little push putt he's has.
Yeah, he gives
Spin
everything a
push.
chance without really blowing by anything.
No.
It's a safe
Yeah.
chance. He really has that figured out. And James for 3 after going deep on his second shot.
Oh, that's it.
No pictures on the scorecards.
Nope, just numbers.
Too bad there's a video. That's a good birdie. And Nikko for 3. Nikko always seems a little intimidated by the shorter putts after the person he's worried about has hit a big putt.
Herm connecting on this 3.
Yep, that's a good 3. Jere taps in a par.
I tap my par in.
And Nikko does the same.
Really does for the open league card. It really does feel when you four this. Does not feel like a par. We all are looking at this hole as 3, 3, 3.
Even this one, that's interesting for me to hear, because I think this is one of the harder par 4s out here.
Yeah.
Hole 3, I can see that. That's an easy 4. You want to get your 3 on that one for sure.
I step up to that one and I'm thinking 3 the whole time. But
it's a good mindset to have. Hole 7 is another par 4, 572 feet. Not quite as tricky as 6, but it has its own challenges.
Yes.
Hill slopes off to the left the whole way.
Yeah, if you Hyzer out on this, it could take you pretty far down.
Well, that might have been a good save by that kick. He could have been way down the hill to the left.
Most players will try to throw the turnover, slight turnover.
And that carried for a long time and skipped.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Hyzering on this hole. It could put you down there, which is almost a straight shot back uphill to the basket. That's more or less the angle
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
all trying to shoot for.
if he had missed that branch, he would have been in a great spot. You can see the group ahead still putting out up there. One little branch and a bad kick. Didn't go too far down there, though.
No. Jere puts a great line on this. That's
Beautiful.
textbook right
yeah,
there.
that's where you want to be for your second shot. And all that cheering you just heard there, unfortunately, might have razzed Herm a bit, but that was Chris Shotwell getting an ace on hole 9.
Yep. Chris and I played right before the tournament on that hole, and we were discussing shots on that hole. Nikko puts a great stroke on that.
Oof. Running the eagle right there. That looked like a good line, too.
Yeah. A lot of trees out here.
That's Tahoe Golf, and especially Sierra College.
I love it, though.
Good upshot from Jere, puts him there for a tap-in 3. A bad view of Herm there, but got up there.
Puts himself within reach.
Yep. And you're there for 4.
Yep.
And Proctor's second shot hit some trees on the way up, but
Pin high.
yeah, pin high about 200 feet down the hill to the left, 150 feet down the hill. Long look at it, birdie, but no.
Can't believe I hit that.
I was surprised to see him mess up his second shot from down there. Here's Nikko for a 3.
Nails it. The camera doesn't show, but this is a pretty steep hill.
Yes, it is. Herm saves his par.
Tap my par in there. Everybody else tapping out.
Yep, and that's Jere tapping in a 3.
Yeah.
Gets the 3 the easy way.
That's what you like to do there.
Yep.
I think the drive has a big deal to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
And we saw 2 birdies on both of those par 4s and 3 pars. So even on the open lead card, we're seeing more pars than birdies. I don't know. I think they're par 4s. Hole 8, par 3, 234. One of the easiest holes at Sierra, kind of like hole 1.
Yeah.
Just a straight shot. A few trees to worry about, but...
Some guys will go with a putter here. Mid-range is more or less what I like.
Yeah, I mean, it is uphill. It plays farther than 234. I opt for mid-range on this one as well.
Jere throws his little rock there.
Yeah, this is a rock shot for me. That is parked. But again, like hole 1, this is a hole that everybody's really hoping to get.
Right. None of us are planning on missing it.
Herm got a kind of lucky kick back into the fairway there. That'll work.
Making it look easy. Went with the putter here too, but
No turn.
didn't get no turn on it.
Yep. Uphill, plane at elevation. It's harder to get things to turn.
Yep. Jason with the 2. Gets it.
Yeah, good jump putt.
Great putt.
Yeah, good save after kicking off a tree on this drive.
Nikko looking at birdie. Gets it.
No problem. James with the drop-in birdie, and Dave is going to tap in his par here, and Jere gets the birdie as well.
I believe this next hole is the ace we heard.
That's correct, hole 9. So 4 birdies and a par on that one. We got a tie at the top, and we got a tie for 3rd and 4th as well. Here's hole 9, 307 feet downhill. Very tricky shot, by the way.
It's a very, very narrow alley. I'm pretty sure he hit it with a putter. We were up here the day before, and we were throwing our putters down there really clean.
It's a tough line. You just got to get this tiny amount of Hyzer and just get it to hold while traveling downhill.
Right.
But too much Hyzer, and there's a lot of trees off to the right.
Jere puts one down the gap.
And he got through that tree, which is going to give him a long look instead of being totally blocked off. Jason's just clipped a tree.
James hits a little tree there.
This hole's rough on the lead card.
I know.
You guys are making Shotwell's ace look better.
It's a great ace, I'm telling you.
Kicked its ass, didn't we?
Made it clean, but way to the right.
Yeah, this one, just like hole 2, I mean, it's downhill and relatively short, but it's tough to reach.
Jason puts a great up shot up there.
Yeah, perfect.
So Spangler is better.
And Nikko's right there too. The basket's just behind that tree. James also laying up for par. He's right there. I kind of got a bad angle on those last couple. Jere's got a long look at a 2 here.
Jere's dangerous from that area.
Yep.
I never count his putt out from there. That's when he'll get you. A long look there, a little shy.
Yeah, looked like it was centered, just a little low. So everybody's tapping in pars here. Chris Shotwell gets the ace, and the lead card gets a par frame.
Yeah. I think that's a great ace. It probably was a beautiful shot to watch.
Yeah, I wish I had seen it. The guy in the orange and gray shirt there is tournament director Dave Polivy, tagging along for a few holes, watching the lead card here at Sierra College.
Pars around.
So going into the back 9 at Sierra College, still a tie at the top between Nikko and Proctor. Hole 10, par 3, 285. Pretty straight shot.
Yeah, this is another hole that is a kind of must get.
Yep.
For the open card.
Sierra College really has 3, I would say.
Yeah.
1, 8, and 10.
This is just a textbook straight shot.
Skip.
Slight turn on it.
Got it.
Yep. Nikko's up there for a look.
Miracles exist.
He threw a little low, barely missed a bush. That's what he's talking about. Jere, another rock shot,
In.
presumably.
Ching.
Little shy.
Come
Great
on.
shot though.
That one. Get in.
Oh wow. Great skip off a rock.
Yeah, all part of the plan.
Puts him another 50, 60 feet
Yeah,
closer.
that gave him a lot of extra distance there.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, that's
Throw the other one.
unusual to see something like that out of James, especially on an easier hole like this.
Threw a ghost right there.
Beautiful. Parked it.
Great mid range.
James with a little bit of a tricky second shot, actually, with those trees right in front of him. Puts it there for a 3. And Nikko for 2.
You do that every
A little upset with himself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about the scores. Him and Proctor are tied. There's his chance to get a stroke.
Did deserve it anyhow.
He was saying there, I didn't deserve it anyhow. I think he's thinking about how lucky he got with that skip off the rock. And Dave taps in a 2 right there. Jere does the same. And then we've got Jason and Nikko tapping in pars.
Very grinding course, I would say.
Yeah,
very mentally grinding.
with all the trees and the hills and the par 4s and hole 11, par 3, 282. Uphill, probably plays more like 340, 350.
Tight fairway too. It's a very narrow alley.
Yeah, this is tougher than it looks. It looks like a pretty straightforward shot, but 282 doesn't do it justice.
Jere opting for this right Hyzer.
Maybe.
I have seen that line before. That's a solid shot up the middle.
Yep.
Should give you a putt.
Skip.
Yep, Nikko gets the skip, and he's got to look at 2. That looks really close from this angle, but he's actually more like 35 feet.
Yeah, it's very deceiving.
Yeah, you got to throw it farther than you think.
The basket almost looks like it's on the other side of the hill. That little knoll there.
Yeah. It's kind of right on top. Proctor.
Putting it up there.
Sit there, please. Don't be 50 long.
Yeah, he kind of ran that a little bit. He might be down the other side of the hill a little ways. It's not too steep, though.
Do it. Oh my god.
Good run from Jason.
Yeah.
And Nikko for a birdie.
Cashes it in.
Bit of a tricky stance with one leg in the Manzanitas.
Yeah.
It's always more of a factor at these Tahoe courses than most other courses.
Right. I feel like when I'm straddle putting very well, this is the type of tournament where it benefits me.
Oh yeah, you almost never have an ideal putting stance at any of the courses up here.
Proctor almost getting that one. Yeah, I feel like the straddle gives you the more stable stance. Ooh,
Jere real close too.
I was a little upset with that. It's not like it for Jere to miss putts like that.
No.
He's very deadly when it comes to putting.
So with that birdie that Nikko got there, he's got 1 stroke on Proctor now, keeping it real exciting through this whole round.
Yeah, it's a very close battle between Nikko and Proctor.
And Dave, with his birdie there, is getting a little ahead of the other 2 players on the card, sitting semi-comfortably in 3rd on his own.
Oh, it's never comfortable.
Never comfortable, especially with this much golf left. And this is the view from behind the tee pad on hole 12 at Sierra College.
We were all discussing how we would put a basket on one of the rooftops there and try to drive that shot.
So this hole is interesting. 275 downhill, completely blind off the tee.
Yeah, very blind. I caught a little bit of that tree right there on the left, but I thought I had a good pace on the disc.
Yeah, the basket's kind of down there by those V trees. On the edge of a little dirt road, and after the basket it gets steeper and there are no more bushes, so it's real easy to roll or skip or whatever past the basket on this one.
Yeah, very steep.
There you can see Nikko put a little too much juice on it. This hole is really deceivingly hard. I mean, you'll notice I didn't include it in the list of must-get holes at Sierra, and it's strange to say that for a hole that's 275 downhill with very few obstacles, but it's just a challenging green.
Yeah, it's a very tough green. Very tough green.
And it makes it tougher that it's completely blind, too. You really kind of have to know
Yeah,
the
we're
course of
really
the
judging. You see these dead pines that are still there? That's kind of what we're all throwing at and just hyzering
shot.
it.
Yeah, you throw right at those with a sidearm and you hyzer towards the pin.
Good.
Yep.
I have in the past attempted a Scooby on this. I just don't quite get the distance.
Yeah, it's hard to get any kind of distance with a Scooby.
Good upshot.
Good upshot, yep, like Nikko said. Jere down the hill.
Man, I need to learn that shot. That little flick from the hip.
It seems so effortless for Jere. And that was Jason's upshot there from off to the right.
Nikko looking at 2 here. Oh. Roll away there.
And it got stopped over there. That's frustrating, but you know, I've seen those hit basket and roll all the way to the bottom of the hill. So
I mean, if you look at his stance right here, you can see how steep this green is. And he cashes that.
that's a good par save.
This is a very steep green, so you can't even get the traction to get through this disc.
Yeah. James for birdie.
Yeah, Proctor.
Jason with his 3.
Jere also. And Dave. So that's 3s for everyone except James. A good 3 save for Nikko after that roll away.
Yeah.
And James and Nikko are tied again.
That was a pretty clutch putt to save 3.
Hole 13, 276, downhill. More trees than hole 2. It's kind of like a more wooded hole 2.
It definitely reminds me of hole 2. It's almost the same shot.
A little less distance.
It's a little
more
trees. A little
trees.
shorter. There's the straightaway shot like Proctor just did there. And then there's also another sidearm shot.
Yep.
I think I go for the sidearm.
Again, just like hole 2, you kind of have, you don't have the hyzer on the right on this one, but you've got the straight up the gut and the sidearm right there. That kind of clipped a tree, came up a little short, but I like that sidearm line. Again, I mean, it's wider than the straight at it line. There's less trees to worry about that way.
Yeah, I always go with a wider fairway. Give me down the fairway as much as I can.
That's a good principle. Nikko goes right at it.
Threading the needle here.
Oh,
man.
Chain out. Jere goes for the sidearm line. A little bit short, but that's a good shot. Oh yeah, he's right there, yeah, in the circle. Herm likes the standstill shots on these shorter holes, I've noticed.
Yeah, he says he feels he's got more control with the standstill.
That's right, he mentioned that at the Zephyr video.
Yeah, I play a lot with Jay. I play a lot with all these guys, but Jason and Jere I play the most with. A little high there. That tree was in my way. I knew I had to put some Hyzer on that to get around it. Jason.
Great putt from Jason.
Making the big one here. Jere getting this too.
Good two from Nikko after a
almost
chain out.
acing.
Yeah. Dave with a par.
Yeah, just cruising along.
And James for birdie.
I think I messed up the star frame there.
You did. That's a surprising one to see 4 out of 5 on, though. That's a lot of trees,
Yeah,
like
it
hole
is.
2. I didn't expect to see that many on that one.
I always like to say when I'm the only birdie that everyone else messed up the star frame.
Yeah.
To make up for this.
Well, still tied at the top, and Jere and Jason are a little closer to Dave now after their birdies on that hole. Hole 14, 310, kind of just a big Hyzer shot. There are a lot of trees to the left. You want to hug the cluster of trees and kind of Hyzer with the tree line.
You're slightly elevated on this hole too. Slightly downhill.
Wow, that's right.
And James, I think, was going to go a little deep there and hit that tree. Put him right there for a 2, but I mean, it was a great shot. He hugged the trees like I was describing.
I like to go with a slow, overstable disc here. Sometimes I use a Gator or a Firebird.
Yeah, you really want it to cut hard left at the end. I mean, the basket is a ways to the left and up a hill. Get around that last tree and start Hyzering. And Jere put a little too much juice on that
A
one.
little long. I've never seen that.
I hadn't either. All the way out on that little gravel road there.
I think it took us a while to find it, because we just never pictured it over there.
Yeah. Yep.
Hugging it a little too tight there.
If you hit a tree on this hole, it is usually that one. It kind of sticks out from the rest of the cluster a little bit. That's looking good. Great shot.
No roll back to the open.
You don't get a lot of skips out here. I mean, there's always stuff to stop your disc. There's your favorite Jason Herm shot.
That's it's such a great touch shot.
Jere, after going deep. Nikko, bit of an awkward stance.
Get out.
Yeah,
Right
that's
in
it.
the heart.
I think you had to contend with that tree right here on the right.
He had the tree in his line, and he was standing in sagebrush too, and that's a little harder for Nikko since he always straddle putts. You know, he dips his disc so low to the ground when he's putting. Good birdie there.
Birdie.
And last but not least, James Proctor getting a birdie. Jerry taps in a par, and Jason taps in a par.
So one day I'm putting out all the baskets.
3 birdies, 2 pars. Still tied at the top. Brings us to hole 15, which is the last out of 4 par 4s at Sierra College. This one's 474. Probably one of the easier par 4s, like hole 3. Bit easier than 6 and 7.
It's a little more open for your approach shot. You just tight in the beginning, but it opens up.
Tight in the beginning, opens up, and gets a little tight near the end again. Proctor didn't quite get the turn out of that he wanted.
That thing was gonna be. That was an
A
eagle
little
look.
frustrated there.
We see Nick Long on the chase card up there. We saw him for round 1 at Bijou.
Hit a little tree early.
Yeah, that's a bad kick. That's tough over there. There's a lot of trees to contend with.
I like to
That's
play
good.
the turnover here. It opens up a lot on the right hand side.
Down where you're at is a great spot to be.
Get out of there.
Punches out.
Yeah, punches through the tree that Proctor hit, and that's a thick tree. I'm impressed
Yeah.
that it punched through that one.
That's a grabber. That's the one you're looking at trying to avoid. Somehow it vortexes right to it. There's a vortex there, just sucking them in.
Apparently you're right. Oh, that came out. Lucky for Jere, the 2-meter rule is in effect at this tournament.
Yeah.
And
I
that
feel it
tree's-
should be in effect in every tournament.
That's what most people in California say, anyway. Oh,
Oh, man.
and that was a good shot, too. And Nikko's a little frustrated. He really executed his second shot very
Yeah, that
well
was
there.
a very well placed shot. Proctor putting a sweet little turnover shot up there.
It's a smart play coming down at the same angle as the hill, so it doesn't pop up and roll like it might coming down on a Hyzer, you know. Backhand Hyzer. Jere gets a little bit of a lucky kick there. That looked like it was going to fade down the hill.
Look at that shot.
Do it.
Jason with that sidearm
Effortless.
shot.
Gives it a run. And Dave, after a great drive.
Saw that one off to a little to the left there, but I'm still there.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
that.
No problem. Nikko gave it a chance. He's not going to be too happy about taking a 4 on this one, but he executed his second shot well. You're going to have some bad luck here and there.
Yeah.
Jerry is saving it.
That's a good putt. That was awkward with his leg in that little pine tree straddling out.
Didn't look good.
Saved the 3.
Proctor for 3 here.
Dave also gets the 3.
Yeah, that's good.
Nikko with the 4, and finally Jason with the 3. So actually, Nikko's the only one who didn't get that. I mean,
it's a tough hole. It's a tough hole. You just got to get yourself up there for your upshot and execute your 3.
This one really is borderline, tough par 3 or easy par 4. I mean, we saw 4 3s on it there, so. Hole 16, par 3, 372. Now this is a hard par 3.
This is a very touchy shot.
A lot of trees on this one. You have kind of this S-curve line straight up the gut that you see there, and you kind of want it to cut right about there. And then it opens up a little.
Right about there.
Towards the basket. Thanks for demonstrating the shot, Proctor.
A lot of guys like to go with their fairway driver. I throw a rival here. Kind of gets the right flight pattern you need. Got a little kick off the tree there.
It's better to kick right than left
Yeah.
on this hole. If you kick left, you got a lot of trees up there. Down to the right's pretty open. Once you're halfway there, anyway.
But that's what we're all shooting for here. We're all shooting for the slight turnover that flexes out.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Jason puts a good stroke on it and just catches a little bit, but it fights through.
Yep.
Gets him up there.
If he hadn't clipped that one little branch, I think that would have been the shot.
Nikko does an over-exaggerated shot.
He likes
of what
that.
we're doing.
That high S-curve shot.
It works. I tried it as well when I was practicing with Shoddy.
He's been throwing that lately. We saw him kind of throw the same way on hole 4. Everybody else is throwing the lower end Hyzer, and he just goes all out, super high.
He throws an overstable and a
Yeah.
negative that fights out. Just taking my medicine and laying up.
Yeah, this one's not bad to take a 3 on. It's a tough 2 to get. James for 2.
He's so scared of the headwind for.
A little scared. Jerry
That was my worst part of the weekend.
takes the par and moves on.
Yes.
Got it in there.
creeps it in.
Everybody else is just tapping in pars here. So Nikko got the only birdie. Nikko and James were really the only ones with looks.
Right. Both great shots, great drives off the tee.
Yep. Tying it up at the top again.
Man, that is a battle for first and second. For first, really.
Hole 17, 330, uphill. Kind of Hyzer the whole way. Another really tough hole. As a matter of fact, the last 3 holes at Sierra are all tough par 3s. A little too much turn on that, and it kind of kicked right a little bit. Good looking line from James.
Yeah, I love watching him throw. He throws nose down and gets a great flight out of the frisbee that way. Turn it over.
That's what's so easy to do on this hole. Is just get a little more turn than you want because you're throwing uphill and trying to get it to hold that Hyzer line the whole way. Jere makes the opposite mistake.
The elevation does have a huge factor in this. Sometimes you think you know for sure it's going to flip. Next thing you know, it's just going straight.
Yeah, that's true. We might as well mention that briefly here. I did mention it in the first two parts of this tournament, but for those who didn't see those videos, this tournament is taking place at 6,000 feet, and discs act a lot more stable than they do at sea level.
A lot more stable.
High elevations like this. Nick Long and I went into more detail on that subject in part 1 of this tournament, if you want to go back and check out that video.
I don't really change my bag, though.
Kind of just change what discs you throw for what shots and change release angles and things like that.
Nikko almost puts that in.
Yeah.
A little wide. Jason, oh.
Solid putt.
That hurts.
That went through, I think, between the outer chains and the inner chains on the strong side. Those are always painful spit outs. Proctor puts it in the heart. Bunch of tap-in pars. James is the only one to get this hole, which brings him back to a one-stroke lead over Nikko.
Yeah. Yeah, the elevation is very tricky. The one thing I do find is the point at where your frisbee flips or your disc flips at is totally different from where you normally play.
Yeah, that's true. And the air is thinner. I mean, so it makes discs, they tend to fly a little faster and farther and with a little less effort, but at the same time they act more stable, which is kind of the opposite. Hole 18, it's par 3, 468. It's a long hole, slightly downhill. One of the hardest holes at Sierra College. It's really a great finishing hole. All the players congratulating each other. James Proctor is up after his birdie on 17. Similar shot to hole 16, just bigger.
Yeah,
bigger and farther.
Downhill instead of flat.
Yep.
It's out there. I don't care. I'm just happy it flipped over.
So his didn't really fade out at the end like he wanted, but he got pin high to the right. You want to hit that window that he hit, something that'll fade more at the end.
Nikko had a great flight on that disc.
He
Just
did.
needed to be a little more right.
That's the last tree that I think everybody's aiming to just cut around that and fade out, and you can be fine really cutting on the inside of it too, since it's the last one in the way.
Mine didn't want to come out there.
Just held.
Just kept holding. Which is not bad. Leaves me with a nice approach shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one where
not
three is not too bad.
No.
A 2 on this really has got to feel like a bonus.
Jere fights too clean.
That's a great shot. He barely made it around that last tree that Nikko hit and faded out. A little too much height on it, so he ended up left, but it was a beautiful drive nonetheless. Jason didn't quite get enough turn, but
he's down there.
That kick could have been worse. I mean, he kind of just kissed off of that tree and kept going. Nikko's playing smart.
Yep. Up there.
You don't want to run a shot like that. Dave's there for a par as well. And Jason, like I said, that kick really wasn't that bad.
Long putt. Oh. Get some metal there.
James did stop before
Almost
that.
OB.
Yeah, that little bit of cement there is OB. And he stopped right before it. And gave the birdie a chance there. And Jere, after a great drive, just outside the circle, I think.
Cashes that in for 2.
That is a great way to finish at Sierra College with a birdie on 18.
This is a tough track to finish on if you're trying to catch up to somebody. It doesn't give you too many opportunities.
It's a tough course with a lot of the toughest holes near the end. James gets his comeback par putt there. And everybody else is around the basket tapping in pars.
Yeah, the last 3 holes are pretty tough to get your birdies on.
I think we saw 1 birdie on each of them, with Nikko getting 16, James getting 17, and Jere getting 18. So that is the end of round 3 at King of the Lake. We still have 2 rounds of golf left.
A lot of golf left.
Here are the scores after round 3. James started that round with a 2-stroke lead over Nikko. Nikko did get it down to 1 stroke. And then here you see the PDGA results for the 5 players in the round. You see that Shasta shot a good round there, shot a 50 at Sierra, 1026 rated, which moved him up onto the lead card and bumped Herm off. So we're going to see a slight change in the lead card for round 4 at Truckee River.
Yes.
Well, that wraps it up for round 3 at King of the Lake at Sierra College. We saw a lot of exciting golf that round, a lot of exciting competition at the top between Nikko and Proctor, just a ton of back and forth.
Battling. Those 2 battled the whole entire time, not letting one get too far away from the other.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Proctor start with a 2-stroke lead. Nikko got it down to a 1-stroke lead. They were tied at many points throughout the tournament. I'm pretty sure Nikko had a 1-stroke lead a few times too.
Yeah.
It was really all over the map. And which is what you would expect from a really wooded course like Sierra.
It's a very tough track. The next course is a little more open, a little more giving to the birdies.
It is. It's probably the shortest course out of the 5 that will be played for King of the Lake.
For sure.
It takes place the same day as Sierra College. They play 2 rounds on day 1 and 2 rounds on day 2. So Sierra College was the morning round, and we take a lunch and go straight to Truckee River in the afternoon. A lot more birdie holes out there, like you were saying.
Yeah, the opportunity for scoring there is open.
So in one sense,
get them.
yeah, in one sense it's easier shots, but the pressure is on.
The pressure's always there. It feels like a birdie or die course, but that's not always the case there.
It's not. I mean, there's still a lot of trees. It's still
wind. The wind's a little more higher. It's very windy there, I think.
A little more exposed than Sierra, so it can get more windy than other Tahoe courses as well. And there are a lot of trees, a lot of rocks, a lot of sagebrush, just kind of gnarly Tahoe terrain. There are some more OBs at Truckee River than we've seen at other courses. There's a paved bike path that runs through a lot of the fairways that plays like a river. You're usually safe on either side, but you can be OB on it.
It's not super easy, but it's scoreable.
Yeah, scoreable, but there's OBs and trees too, so anything can happen at Truckee River. So stay tuned for that. And I gotta thank my girlfriend Jen again for walking along the whole time with the second camera and getting the shots from the basket view that you saw throughout this video. It really helps on all the blind holes to be able to see the result of shots that go out of frame from the tee. Great documentation of the Tahoe courses for sure.
And I also like to thank my wife for giving me the opportunity to always play. Thank you. And I'd like to thank Final 9 for helping me out. Trueline Customs always been there for me. And Legacy Disc for always hooking me up with good things to throw.
And lastly too, I gotta thank you, Dave, for coming on and doing commentary with me. Thanks for making the trip over.
Thank you.
And now we'll take a look at some of the highlights from the round. First up, Nikko Locastro driving on hole 2.
He puts a beautiful stroke on this shot right here.
I thought it was an interesting choice that he threw a driver here. He just powered down and got that hard finish to the left, which is what you need for that Hyzer line.
Little check-up skip there.
Jere Eshelman on hole 4. One of the hardest holes at Sierra College.
Making it look easy. Nice turn over there.
Hugs the inside of that line. Holds the whole way. Flies right past the basket and unfortunately skips out behind a bunch of stuff and he can't get his birdie, but the drive was amazing nonetheless. James Proctor driving on the same hole. Usually if two players have a good shot on the same hole, I'll pick the best, but these two were both just incredible. Jere's might have even looked a little cleaner actually, but James's was great, and he got in a spot where he was able to capitalize on the opportunity and get the birdie.
This is a really good birdie to get.
I've played a lot of rounds at this course, and I have not witnessed very many birdies on this hole.
I'm lucky to get past that first gap.
Yeah. Next up, Dave Madruga on hole 5.
Really, really enjoyed throwing that closer right off this hole. It's got such a great line to it.
Holds nice and straight the whole way. A good spot for an easy 2. And Nikko Locastro putting on hole 5 after his drive came up short. Big jump putt.
Dead son.
Right in the heart. Happy to make that one. Nikko is just deadly from 40 to 50 feet.
I think it might be the fro. It's gotta be the fro.
Nikko Fro. He's bringing it back. Next up, Jason Herm's second shot on hole 6. A bit of an awkward flick Hyzer window. And he puts it right there for a birdie 3 on this par 4.
Just threading the needle.
James Proctor's third shot on the same hole after his second drive went a little deep. Up. And it's good.
Almost no chains necessary there.
And the next hole, another par 4, hole 7. Nikko's first shot hit some trees, so he's a little shorter than he wants to be. This is his second drive. And
man, he almost makes this.
Gives it a run for eagle. And of course makes the comeback birdie. Next up, Jason Herm putting on hole 8. It's an easy hole, but his drive hit a tree and kicked off to the side. Big jump putt to save a 2. Nice putt, Jason.
Great stroke on that putt.
He's got a really smooth putting style. I love watching him putt. Jere Eshelman on hole 10. Magic rock shot, presumably.
Oh, it's for sure rock.
Right in front.
He doesn't leave home without it.
And David Madruga putting on hole 11. Awkward stance from the Manzanitas. More arm, less rest of the body.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Gotta learn that kind of putt in Tahoe. And Nikko putting for par on hole 12 after his long birdie putt hit the basket and rolled away.
Very steep hill here. Saves it.
And that was really a clutch moment for Nikko too, being tied with James. James being there for a 2. Nikko really needed to get that, and he did. And of course,
He follows it up.
Nikko Locastro driving on hole 13. Going ultra slow-mo on this one. Man, 6 inches to the right. I mean, you never know with that kind of speed if it would have spit out anyway, but so close.
Yeah. Great line on that.
And Jason Herm putting on the same hole after going pretty deep.
Another awesome stroke here. Slams it.
Herm was putting excellent this round.
Put it really good.
I'm actually
Made
really
a few long putts here.
surprised to see that he dropped off the lead card when Shasta bumped up. I thought he played so well this round. I guess he must have just had a lot of great shots. And James Proctor driving on 14. Nice high Hyzer shot. Right behind the basket. Parked for a 2. Once again, clutch moment for Nikko with James parked for a 2.
And this was not an easy putt here with this tree in the way.
Outside of the first tree, inside of the second tree, right in the heart once again.
Jere with some tricky footing here. No big deal.
Gets it over. Saves us 3 on hole 15. Next up, Nikko's drive on hole 16. With that super high, really, and Hyzer backhand.
That's a stable disc. I'm pretty sure that's a Legend Outlaw. Those are pretty stable.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could see how stable it was from that flight path.
And he's in altitude.
So after Nikko gets the birdie on 16, Proctor answers with a fantastic drive on 17. Puts him in the circle where he would later get his 2 to get a 1-stroke lead over Nikko since they both parred 18. Jere, however, throwing a fantastic shot on hole 18.
Throwing his blizzard. Pretty sure that's his blizzard there.
Yeah, he's got some Blizzard Wraith, I think. Not positive on that. A little high, skips down to the left of the pin, but he missed all the trees and stayed on the intended fairway too. And finishes the round.
It's a great putt.
With a birdie on hole 18. Such a tough hole to get. That's it for Sierra College. 3 courses down, 2 courses to go. Stay tuned for round 4 at Truckee River.